This guy made me change my mind on the Dinobots. I obviously want to collect all of Studio Series 86, but the Dinobots were never all the way up there on my list because, like, well, one, I'm sure a lot of them are hard to get, especially Grimlock, if you want the original, not the comic recolor, which I don't. And it just $60 for a Dinobot just didn't feel right to me. 60 or 50, depending on, what store you buy it from and where exactly in the market they are. But yeah, and having to pay that like 5 times to get the whole set, it just wasn't something I was willing to stomach, and I was never a huge fan of Dinobots, unlike a lot of people were or are. So I was okay with passing on them until I got in a better financial situation and or found better deals, which I did with this guy. He was on, he stayed at my local Walmart for at least a year, and I just got him on clearance, like, $10, $15 off, and I'm willing to spend that. So I got it in my hands, and he is, the only way I can describe him is big. He is big. He is bigger than most every other leader that I have. I figured he'd be regular leader size, regular modern leader size, like Galvatron or like Blitzwing. But no, he is like big in vehicle, in alt mode, and in robot mode. And it's having big Autobots, because like the biggest Autobot we've got, was Ultra Magnus, but he wasn't even supposed to be that big. They just made him that big so car carrier mode would be the right scale. But all the other Autobots are pretty much like deluxes or small Voyagers, like Perceptor. He's a Voyager, but he's really more of a deluxe looking guy. And again, Rodimus, he was a commander, but he's the size of like a leader or a tall Voyager. It is nice having the Autobots get some, heavy hitters, some big, bulky, intimidating looking figures. So yeah, he's some sort of sauropod-ish. I have no idea what species. I cannot find a species that has this length of neck and this body proportions, spikes in the back of the tail, and like, I know his feet are wrong, but he's not supposed to look like a real dinosaur. He's supposed to look like the cartoon model, and he does, because, sauropods, but they didn't have canines or incisors, like they wouldn't have had sharp teeth. He's got a blast effect little piece which is mounted a bit too high for my liking. I wish it could either could slide down or it was just mounted further down. But he's got a lot of posing articulation for his dinosaur mode compared to a lot of animal beast mode transformers that are like bricks in animal mode. This guy's got a pretty decent amount of posing with the neck. It can't rotate except for this joint in the center-ish, but the head can move a good range up, a good range down. The mouth can open and close as much as you need. He can bend the neck down and up, and it doesn't look the best when it's bent down too far, but you can kind of, I would like to imagine it as like the hip bone, because when you look at tall-necked animals, when they bend their head down, the highest point becomes their hips, their shoulders, if you will. But this isn't where his shoulders are, so it's not that, But from most reasonable angles, it's a shallow enough bump that you can kind of ignore it and use your mind's eye and squint. Other than that, like the front feet, you can actually get him to walk by just using the front feet, and that looks really cool. They can pose, tilt a little bit, not a lot, pretty much as much as you need though. They can swivel. The rear feet though, since they're the arms, they have a ton. They can go in and out. They can swivel as well. They can go double jointed all the way back, and they can go a bit forward if you undo some transformation. And the tail is just static. It can't do anything really of note. The only thing I have as a gripe in this mode is that the gun stores on the bottom, which is kind of like, it looks kind of dumb, but there's this big hollow space in here. They could have found a way to fit it in there, maybe the gun fold in half. But you can also plug the gun onto the side if you want that. The gun itself I want to talk about for a bit, because it's the Cybertronian race, this super advanced race of alien robots they can transform, they can mass shift, they have plasma energy, they have teleportation. They're still using Picatinny rails. That's funny. I don't like. It even has little hex screws. Like, this is a Picatinny rail. That's hilarious. I love it. Otherwise, transformation, it's really neat, and it does, Dinobots, they do kind of take a bit well, I guess, Beast Form was taking a bit from the Dinobots, and Dinobots came first, as the animal's skin just becomes a shell over the robot, and then it folds back and becomes on his backpack. But a lot of the dinosaur incorporates very well into Sludge's robot mode, and you'll see that. Most like the back half, from here back, that's all the legs, and you see here, this is his arms. To start off with, we're going to take this, crack it open, and there's an order of operation you have to do, which is cool. So you're going to split these, and then, and only then, after can you bring these out. Then you can take this and extend it, and these they're pegged together, but if you extend them because they're on cams, they'll unpeg themselves. You can extend these down all the way, and only then can you fold these out, which I think that's neat. Kind of, you have to unfold them, fold something out, and then fold them back. And you fold these in, down, fold them down, unfold the feet, clip the tail onto the sides, and you see there's his feet done. And you can tell, again, it's cool how a lot of the dinosaur becomes, part of the robot, the feet. Yeah, the tails hang out on the sides, but I just consider that, not necessarily bad kibble, but good kibble, a cool design choice. So then you just straighten them up, crack the neck down if you haven't already. We'll deal with that later. Then you crack the wings, bring them out, and then take the front legs, swing them around, and again, we deal with this later. Just kind of leave it like that. Then, now this is cool. Bring the arms out, fold the head up, then the torso, or the front of the torso, I guess the chest, will move up, rotate around, and then slot into place. And that's really cool. Then you're going to unpeg this double joint in the arms, bring out the fist, rotate them, and rotate the arms. And as far as I can tell, that right there in the back of the arms is the most hollow space I can see on this figure. Look at the waist. Now the wings don't just sit there, they will peg in at this joint where the legs are. And you can pretty much do whatever you want to with the legs. What I like to do is I'll bring the legs down, tilt them like this, bring the head down. It'll kind of peg, it'll thoop into place. It's got a tab and a port, but it doesn't really lock in. You can bring it down and then slide it and angle it sort of like this, and they'll kind of nest with each other, and that clings to the backpack as much as you can. And then, yeah, there's Sludge. He's a cool, he's big. That head sculpt especially, he's ginormous. It's really cool seeing the Autobots get some, bruisers on their team. This piece, it's a plastic insert. I thought it was a door that would open up to do something. It's not. Don't try that. You might break it. The Autobot symbol, it's really nice. I don't think it's a sticker, but it looks just like it's a sticker. Calling back to the old toys. Articulation is great. The only problem is the arms can't go back because of the wings, so you're a bit limited there. And the wings, they do tab in. They are prone to kind of flopping around and untabbing at some points. But otherwise, he's got in and out. He's got the regular shoulder joints. He's got stiff bicep rotation. He's got wrist rotation. He's got tons, all full 90 degrees at the knee. You can do full splits. You can't, again, kick back, bring the legs back too far because of the backpack. I'm going to show you something about that in just a minute. The ankles can tilt all the way, and the toes can move up and down for transformation. They're loose, and it kind of breaks up a bit of the silhouette, so I wouldn't use it for posing that much, but if you need to, it's there. The legs, the knees, and the shoulder are on soft ratchets, and they feel so nice to help this guy be really stable. And he just looks neat. There's not a lot of detail on him. A lot of the Dinobots, to be honest, don't have much detail on their robot modes. That's why they spent a lot of time in dinosaur mode. But it's still pretty cool. And for me, I got the 86 movie as a kid, but it took a while for me to get the G1 cartoon on DVD after that. So the only view of Dinobots in robot mode I got were that one scene of them in Optimus' shuttle before they transformed, and that one scene where they transform after fighting Unicron. So I was so floored when I watched season 1 and season 2 when you get to see them in robot mode a lot more. So seeing the Dinobots in robot mode at all are just kind of a treat for me and really neat, and I like it. And again, like, this guy makes me excited for the Dinobots. He makes me want to pursue and get more of the Studio Series Dinobots. That's how good he is, you know. Especially for the price I pay, you know, on clearance. Like, this guy is just incredible. Now back for the backpack. This is on a slider right here. So if you really want to, you take this off, just slide it right off, and that cleans the backpack up a lot. You know, back in the day, the head would have came off, and that would have been like a mace or a sword or some sort of weapon that would like plugged onto his arm. And nowadays, we don't have that. You know, I don't mind. It never happened in the show, but like, you know, that would have been a gimmick back in the day. So yeah, there's my thoughts on Studio Series Sludge, which is, there's not a lot that I have to say about him, you know, because he doesn't do anything stellar, but he really is a good example for me of like what the Dinobot toys are, because again, he is just a bare bones. He only comes with one accessory. He doesn't do anything special at all, but he's a big dinosaur and he's a big posable robot, and that's enough to get me sold on the Dinobots. Because again, when I thought they were the size of like Galvatron and Blitzwing, I didn't think they were worth the price. Now I really thought they should have been Voyagers. Now I'm totally on board with them being leaders, and I think they're totally worth it. So yeah, I look forward to getting more of them.